That's it. Welcome to BLAPCHAT. We're in.
No.
We can't do our intro without glam.
Oh, man.
All right, fuck it. We're here.
I was gonna say it's gonna sound so dry.
A three-part harmony on four-part. Supposed to be four-part.
We're doing the dry intro today.
Yeah.
Guys, what's up? Welcome to BLAPCHAT. Yeah.
Did you guys do it last week without me?
We did, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't. We
actually said that. Like, yo,
it was sounding weird, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it was like missing a baritone.
Miss my low.
Your low baritone, like homeboy from Boyz II Men. Remember? Bass?
Oh yeah, Nathan
bass.
was
No, I don't
Nathan
know
was
his
the
name,
other guy.
but the bass was missing.
It wasn't the same when he left the group.
No, it wasn't.
He left the group for back issues. He had like the lower back issues, I think. Or something.
When you have an iconic group like Boyz II Men and then like one person leaves, it's just never the same.
Yeah. Ever.
But
true.
shout to Boyz II Men, legendary.
Legends.
We need another like vocal R&B group. Like we need vocal R&B groups.
Can you raise my vocals up a little?
Yeah.
I think
turn mine up too.
I sound a little
I'll
like
take mine
thin.
up a little bit too.
We'll go overall, turn it up. We missed that.
But
we need that.
do you think that would work in this day and age?
I think so.
It's gonna come back.
If it's pulled,
It always comes
Why?
back.
if it's pulled off right, I think it'll work.
I think it'll come back because they always boy groups and girl. They always come around.
Yeah, they always
It
come
takes
around.
maybe a few years,
Yeah.
5,
Yeah.
6, 7 years, but
Listen.
it was Boyz II
But
Men.
do you think they can survive in this day and age?
Yeah.
though? Because it's easy for anyone to form a group and come together and do it for a while and then
They can
separate.
survive. They can survive as long as they're super.
Listen,
they got to be superstars.
Coming from someone who sang in a boy group, I was in a boy band back in the day. It's actually very difficult to keep a group together because there's so many different
So
personalities
many,
and egos.
That's
like
true.
there was one guy in the group, I won't say who, but it wasn't Father Dude, who just ego has just got way too big, and he was the least talented in the group. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, but his ego just got really big. But that happens in rock bands.
It happens.
in all.
I think that groups are always going to be hard. Groups are always going to be hard. You know what I mean? I've been in a couple groups. It's hard. You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah, that's right. You were. That's right.
I have. Air horn for that. Anyway, guys, welcome to BLAPCHAT. This is episode 65, right, Josh? Josh actually.
I feel like we're at episode 68
I know, man.
or something.
I feel like we've been in the 60s for a long
I think it's
time.
65.
It is 65. Josh is really swaggy today.
He is.
Word, he should turn the camera on
He's
himself.
got them
You know what
fly
I mean?
Reeboks.
I'm gonna grab the camera so you guys can see his outfit.
His shirt, is that an attached hoodie?
Yeah, it's kinda
Is that
fly.
one piece? Oh,
Yeah, see?
One piece.
Hus TLE. Yeah, he's rocking it
And he
right
got
now.
the shirt to match
Hi,
under
Josh.
too. He
Just
got the
swagging
colorway.
out.
I see
Josh
you
is
out there
swagging
growing
out.
his hair.
J
Okay.
Jules. He's not Josh. He's J Jules.
He's
today.
J Jules.
Yeah.
That's JYLZ. How do we spell it? JYJWLZ. Go
Make
follow
sure you
him.
guys follow him on Instagram.
JYJWLZ.
This is BLAPCHAT episode 65. I go by the name of Illmind.
Yes,
This
sir.
is an all music production podcast. Welcome to all of our regulars. I'm here with my co-host. We're missing one co-host today, but I'm here with my mans.
Atlas the Plug was goody in the hoodie. We are here. I'm back, baby. I'm back.
Yeah.
Alice is back. And of
Don't be
course,
shy.
It's me, Perfection.
Perfection
What's up,
is here.
guys?
Wait. We're here. Man, Perfection. First of all, hair, love it.
What's
Thank
awesome?
you. Have
That's
to switch
dope.
it up.
How long did it take to do that? That looked like a process. Like that's a process.
About 2 hours.
2 hours.
But even those 2 hours felt really quick.
Did it?
Yeah, because the lady I went to an African lady.
Oh,
super
she
dope.
bodied it.
Yeah. This lady, there was a salon next to my apartment complex and they closed down. She was there for years. And I used to do my hair there since I was 14, 13. So I was like, damn, who's going to do this for me? And then I was just Googling online for places near my house. And she popped up. She has her own business now. So I was like, dope. Yeah.
Sick.
I mean, yeah, she's been doing it for years. So it's, and she's good.
Those are the best ones, man.
Yeah, and she was just doing my hair, and then she had a worker there, and then a friend came by, I guess.
Yeah.
So she's doing one side, and then she switched, and then they finished it, and it was kind of
So
three of them
legit.
in one. But yeah, it's
So
cool.
legit. You got the Black Panther theme going on right now.
But let me tell you, this shit
Is
hurts.
fly. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
The first,
Yeah.
because they're pulling your hair when they're braiding it from the scalp.
So does it? Is it? It's tight right now.
Right now, no. Right now, it's it's a little loosened up, but
Okay.
it's pulls a little bit, in certain.
Yeah, you got to put
spots, but-
oils and stuff, oils and
Yeah, I just went straight to sleep afterwards. I took a nap because beauty really is pain.
Yeah.
This is true.
It's true.
This is true.
It is.
I had cornrows. There was a time. If you look at my Instagram, you'll see a funny picture of me looking like Sean Paul.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I had the cornrows in my head. This is a little while back in my boy band days. But I feel you because when they were like doing it, it was so tight.
Yeah.
Like if anyone just like pushed like your scalp just a little bit, you just scream.
Yeah, I couldn't even turn my head. Exactly. I had to like turn my body.
Yeah, because it pulls the skin tight and so. It's
insane.
Crazy.
That's crazy. I go through that every day with my hair.
Yeah, I see.
Every day.
Them braids are looking tight, bro.
Braids are tight right now.
Nice.
A lot has happened this week. What is it? It's February. Going into March already. This is a short month. If you guys are living under a rock, you guys know, if you're a producer, there's a new sample pack out.
Talk about it.
It's called Fantasy Loops. I just dropped it on BLAP-KITS.com. Go get that. It was inspired by my nerdy RPG, Final Fantasy, Phantasy Star childhood. And I kind of took that, RPG video game fantasy music and kind of used that as like inspiration to make this sample pack. And so it's available now. So go to BLAPKITS.com, BLAPKITS.com. Go pick up that Fantasy Loops pack. And there's a bunch of legendary sample packs and drum kits on that website. Go get it.
Do you still have the original Final Fantasy poster that I won't say where you got it from, but you know the one I'm talking about?
I used to work at a record store in Jersey.
Yeah.
And I took it. I stole it.
He stole it. I didn't want to say it, but he stole it. Yeah, that shit is fire, though. That's the original.
OG.
And you're here now.
Yeah. And I'm here now.
Look at it.
I am not behind bars. I'm here.
That inspired you.
That record store is going to hear this and go, he's the one that took that bastard.
Actually, it was free. It wasn't even for sale. But I wasn't supposed to take it, but I did.
Right.
So yeah, man, shout to you guys. Shout to all the producers. Shout to all of my audio engineers. Make sure you guys subscribe to us if you're not already. BLAPCHAT is on iTunes. If you're listening to that right now, good for you. Make sure you subscribe. We're on SoundCloud as well, so hit that follow button on SoundCloud. And listen, guys.
YouTube too, right?
YouTube as well. YouTube.com/Illmind Vision. You'll find all of the videos there. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Listen, there's no excuses. If you listen to us on the podcast, you should be subscribed.
You'd want to see that on video.
There's no reason why you should be listening to the podcast and not watching us on YouTube as well.
That's a fact.
So go to YouTube, type in Illmind, type in BLAPCHAT, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, we get questions all the time. I mean, this whole platform is us trying to, empower you guys as music producers, engineers, rappers, singers, just creators in general. A lot of great content on YouTube. Go subscribe right now. You're doing yourself a disservice by not going to YouTube.
I feel like you'd rather see it.
It's so much better to see it.
Like I listen to Joe Budden, I listen to Breakfast Club. Joe Rogan is one of my favorite podcasts.
Yes.
But very rarely do I listen to just the audio. I like to watch it on YouTube.
To watch it. Yeah.
And
guys, listen, YouTube is the future. It really is. Yeah. So go to YouTube, subscribe to us, and like Atlas said, there's a bunch of other really cool ones out there. I'm assuming a lot of you guys are up on Gary V, right? So you guys check out the interview I did with Gary V. I had the pleasure of being a guest on his podcast recently. The video just dropped a couple days ago on YouTube. So if you go to Gary V's YouTube account, you'll see the video. It's called Pod Sessions. So basically what he's doing is he's getting, 3 people from different walks of life, people that are kind of specialized and successful in their own way, getting them together and just having a conversation. So he curates it. It's a really cool series, so check that out. I was on there with the amazing, wonderfully talented Hannah Bronfman, who is she's great, man. She's a DJ. She's all about natural beauty and health and exercise and fitness, and she's also an ambassador for Adidas. So she's really into she's the founder of HB Fit. So she's a super boss, super awesome, and she's so sweet too. So shout to Hannah Bronfman. You guys should follow her. And then my man Nick Stauskas, from Brooklyn Nets. He was a guest as well from Toronto, and he's got an amazing story too.
He plays for them?
He plays, yeah, for the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. So it was us three, and we just had a great conversation. So after you listen to this, make sure you guys go over to Gary V's YouTube and go check out the video with us having a conversation.
Gary V was at the studio this week too.
He was
he?
Yeah. Gary's going hard.
He's in town, right?
Gary's going hard. He was actually for Premium Pete, right?
Yep.
So Gary's moving around, man.
Yep.
We're getting him on our show next.
He went on Premium Pete?
Yep. Yeah, shout to Premium Pete.
Shout out Premium Pete.
Premium Pete.
I love
Premium Pete. And
I'm
Gary
just jealous. That's all. I love Premium Pete.
Premium Pete and Gary V are my two favorite white guys.
Oh, Premium's hilarious. He's Italian, right?
He's Italian.
Yeah.
I
Crazy
love
Italian.
He's crazy.
I like when he talks about it.
That's a great conversation. Those two.
Yeah.
That's a good podcast.
Gary V he's
Russian.
He's Russian.
I think
okay.
he's Russian.
Vandicha.
Yeah. So shout out to you guys. Make sure you go get that kit. Also, too, next week I will be down south. I'm taking a little quick trip.
North Carolina.
I'll be in North Carolina and
Virginia?
VA.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to Richmond, Virginia, and Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'll be in Richmond, Virginia on Wednesday, the 21st of February, and then on Thursday, February 22nd, I will be in North Carolina. So Richmond, Virginia, and then Charlotte, North Carolina, 21st and 22nd. So I'm doing my Pass the Aux session out there. So come see me if you're a producer or music creator next week in those two markets, Richmond, Virginia, Charlotte, North Carolina, and you want to come see me. I'm picking a private studio, and I'm gathering a small handful of music creators to come in the studio with me and vibe out, listen to music, talk, all that good stuff. So go to my website, illmindproducer.com, to book your slots. And I'm also going to a bunch of other places. We're doing Atlanta. You know what I mean? You guys trying to come? What's up?
You already know.
I already told Illmind.
Atlanta's going to be lit.
Yes.
So that's happening in April. And then we're doing Jersey City. Of course, I got to go back to my hometown, Jersey.
That's going to be lit.
And then we're doing Minneapolis. We're doing Detroit. And then we're about to announce a bunch of other cities. We're going to do Toronto again. Going to do Vancouver. Going back to LA. Going to do LA again. Going to do the Northwest. Probably do Miami.
Seattle?
South. Seattle, probably. Yep.
Seattle
we'll do Vancouver.
Oh, well, Seattle, Vancouver. That's when.
Yeah, that whole connect. So guys, if you're a producer, trust me, you want to come to my Pass the Aux private studio sessions. They're happening this year in different cities. Go to my website, illmindproducer.com, to book a slot. This is special, man. And listen, this is all about. This is a promo tour for me. This is me linking up with up and coming creators and just getting in a room and getting to know each other, man. Creating an opportunity for you guys to get to know me, but even more importantly, get to know each other.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no reason why, if you're going to their city and there's an upcoming producer, there is absolutely no reason why they shouldn't be at the Pass the Aux. Because not only are you going to pick Illmind's brain, but you're going to meet locals.
Yep.
Yeah, and collaborate.
And collab, and then you're building your network locally, which is, we always talk about, that's really the key to getting further in your career, regardless of what it is you gotta run your city first. You gotta know everybody in your city and then work your way out. So definitely go check out Pass the Aux.
Exactly. If you guys saw my latest YouTube video, I had a conversation with Joel Ortiz, and we're talking about, just the whole idea of, success and sacrifice and all that stuff, and how much we've sacrificed. And then today I did a meet and greet. Obviously, Atlas, you were there. And someone asked me, how I got like a particular placement on a major label. I think we were talking about the Black Panther thing. And really, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is working your ass off, but then linking up with your peers, right? So, instead of trying to cheat the system and skipping a bunch of steps and linking up with Drake or Metro, whoever it is you idolize, really it's just starting over here and meeting with people on your level. We talk about that shit all the time, but I don't give a fuck. We're gonna talk about it more. That shit is so important. every, guys, listen, every placement that I've gotten has been the result of me working with people that are kind of on this level, right? Like,
talk about the on your level thing that you talked about
2008, I'm like, I just had gotten out of mom's basement. 2008, Drake wasn't popping. 2008, K-Dot wasn't popping, aka Kendrick Lamar. 2008, J. Cole wasn't popping. Who are their producers? 40 wasn't popping yet. Boy Wonder wasn't popping yet.
Murder Beats
was like 10 years old. Me, I'm like just getting out of mom's basement, but still working. Like these are my peers, guys. Soundwave, Willie B, 2008, K-Dot. Like Soundwave was coming up with Ali. Ali was a nobody back in 2008, 2007, right? We were relatively all nobodies, but we were putting the work in. And
you all knew each other.
Yeah, but back then we didn't. Okay. Not yet. Not like we do now.
Right.
And all we really did was just stay on it and just work our ass off. And now fast forward 2012, 2013, we're all kind of respectively in our own levels. And now you get, a Boy Wonder and an Illmind kind of get together now. And it's like, oh, now let's work together and like do something special together. And then you have, like a Soundwave, like I said, and like these guys. So now, these guys are kind of like on my peer level. So I always say, like, instead of like taking the shortcut and cheating the system, just put the work in now and like keep an eye out. Keep a really close eye out of the people that are on your level, that are really getting busy, people that you respect, and like who the new artists are, like Drake is not going to be the number one artist forever. I mean, he will be for a long time. He's legendary. And I believe Drake will be around 100%. For a very long time. Same with Kendrick, same with Cole. But like, as a producer, I think it's our opportunity now to like groom the next person. And really keep an eye out and say, okay, I see you over there. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe we could work together. Or, okay, you're an artist. I believe in you. Let's build our own movement. You know what I mean? So, and that's ongoing too. That's ongoing.
During the meet and greet today.
The meet and greets.
The meeting it was great, by the way. I will say.
Right.
From the UK.
There was like, I don't know, when you tweeted and like an hour later, there must have been like 25 kids that came out to meet. And
on a weekday.
Jeez, these guys don't have jobs.
Yeah, shout out to you guys.
Day, nobody's
on
in
a school day, no school day.
I thought one person was going to show up, honestly. But shout out to all you guys that showed up at the quick little last minute meet and greet.
And one of the questions one of the guys brought up was how he created a website where he puts his beats on. And, is that okay and all that. And, we had spoke. And, when he said that, the first thing that I said was like, that's cool because you have a place to send people, like if they want to leave. He's like, yeah, I'm getting like one interest like a week as far as track. And then that's not necessarily selling one track a week, but interest on one track a week. And then you had asked me what I had thought about that, and I want everyone to hear this. And what I said is like, that's cool, but you need to be out meeting artists. Like, you need to be at open mics. You should go to rap battles. You should go to producer battles. Like, you got to be out there meeting the people, like face to face, genuinely engaging these people, like looking them in the eye and having them see you there, and then building that relationship. And that's going to take you way further than building a website. I don't care how nice your website is, it looks great, and putting all your beats on there. Like, yeah, that's cool, but it's really more
deeper relationships. You going out, even if it's once a week, once every 2 weeks. Your wifey lets you go out, or you're off on your job. Like, go to an open mic. Yeah, even like perfection. Even like what you do. It's like you're a producer, and you do all these things, and that I love your story about when you first met like Angela and like how she like inspired you to like do a lot of stuff, and like you guys are like super tight to this day, and like you sort of like working over at Engine Room too and rubbing shoulders with different people, but then also being involved with like different podcasts as well. It's like you have relationships, you know what I mean? So like you you're doing all of this stuff with people in person. Like,
Right.
you're not only on the internet. Like, hey, check this out, or hey, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
like,
the
you're doing that
majority
too.
of my relationships is like having to communicate, like,
Yeah,
on a larger scale.
Yeah, like real human beings.
Yeah, like
You
real
know?
human beings.
Yeah,
right.
like you would have
Yeah.
never like gotten to know Angela Yee like via like Instagram DM.
random
Yeah,
DM,
definitely.
right?
But I will say this though. I will say that I think the internet is amazing for being kind of like the launch pad
Right.
for a thing.
Yeah.
But ultimately the end kind of goal, the light at the end of the tunnel is, you know, you guys getting together in person and like getting to know each other deep,
Yeah,
like
because
on a
it's like
deeper level.
on the internet, you can definitely meet people and follow people and this and that, and they can see your lifestyle and vice versa. But you know, it's different when you take that offline. When you like, you know how it is when if you follow someone like a mutual friend or something, and you acknowledge each other online, but then when you see each other in person, it's like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? And then it's a whole different introduction, and that takes the relationship to a different level.
Yeah.
It's like you can be online all day, and then what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
You know what's something that's been happening, and I'm sure it'll get this a lot in you as well. It's if you're gonna send someone like the random DM, listen, that's cool. I'll read them every now and then if I have the time to do it, and you know, and it's worded correctly. Oh, forget it. Yours is probably blown up. But anyway, so I'm talking about perfection.
With incorrect words.
Yeah, with all kinds of
I read
crazy
a lot of bullshit,
images
like,
and
right.
But one thing you shouldn't do is just spam them, like spam them sending a DM every other day.
No, I don't do that.
It's just like you're gonna get blocked. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just, it looks tacky.
Yeah.
If you want to send one once in the blue with a nice little message like, yo guys, I really love BLAPCHAT. I love what you guys do. Here's a track I'd love for you to check out. I'll probably check it out. But then if you keep sending me, just DMing me like just all the time and I don't respond and you just keep doing it, you're gonna get blocked.
Yeah.
You know? And it's
You
like,
know what I hate?
Yeah.
Please don't like 30 or 40 of my pictures back to back.
oh, that is the
That
worst.
is annoying as fuck.
That's creep.
You guys
Like,
ever-
yes, you're getting
yeah.
my attention
Yeah.
in the wrong way.
way.
and the unfollow game.
Yeah.
They follow you, they
Please.
unfollow you. They follow you, they unfollow
Yes,
you.
I've had people that I blocked, and I've looked at my fucking, feed, and I'm like, you again? I'm like, all right.
You know what's worse than the
right.
block though? The mute.
That's Twitter though. You can't do that
Oh,
on
you
IG.
can't mute on
Yo,
IG.
you can't do that.
Instagram needs
They need
a
a
They need a
mute
mute.
button.
Because then they don't even
like,
know.
Yeah, mute is like, you know what? I'm gonna be so disrespectful. You gonna think I'm paying attention
And
to you, but
I've
I'm
been
really
blocked.
not.
Yeah.
That's
And then
fucked
it's
up.
like, you know how some people are like, well, why don't you just unfollow somebody? Like, sometimes in this industry, you kind of can't.
Right,
You
right,
know what
right.
I mean? Because it's like there's some people that really take that to heart. Like, oh, you
Right.
unfollow me? What's your problem? What I
they
did?
feel a
What-
certain way.
Yeah,
They
they
do.
feel a certain way, and it's cheesy, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's stupid, but sometimes you really can't
Yeah.
unfollow somebody.
I
So
don't
you
give a
just
fuck.
hit
I
the
be
mute button,
I
and
be
it's like,
unblocking people. So I don't care. I unfollow you. I'll block you. I don't.
nah,
know
I've
what I
definitely
mean?
unfollowed
Yeah.
people, but there's like certain, there's sometimes certain people that
Yeah.
like you just gotta like.
You know what's interesting too with social media, and I'm sure a lot of up and coming artists and producers deal with this. Like, sometimes you follow people that you really don't want to follow, and then you see their post, and it just like.
Yeah.
Just
Burns your-
hurts.
yeah,
It's like someone
Burns-
took a knife and just
boils
stabbed you in the
boils
chest.
your blood.
So if you ever feel that way, just unfollow them,
That's
bro.
a fact. That's
you
a little
don't need that
intense.
in your life.
Just unfollow.
That's a little
Unfollow.
intense, but
It's okay.
Instagram definitely needs a mute button,
Yeah,
and
I
Twitter
agree.
needs an edit button.
Twitter needs an edit
Yes,
button.
no, they do that on purpose. They don't want
They
you to
do.
be able. They
Yeah,
want
they
you
do.
once you put it out, that's it, buddy.
Yeah,
You got to either
that's true.
delete
Yeah.
it. You can't go back and take it
That's
away.
true.
But there's sometimes like
But
you
sometimes
have like
there's
a
a
spelling
typo.
error,
Yeah,
and then
typo.
you realize like an hour later, and you're like,
I'm the worst. I be my typos
You know what?
are the worst.
Speaking of social media, we're gonna play a little game, and I want to, and Josh, you're playing, and Preach, you're playing as well.
oh,
Guys, ready? Strip poker. No, I'm just kidding. I was gonna-
51 big
All right, so we actually played this game on Gary V's podcast. So I'm gonna steal this idea from Gary once again. We're gonna get on our phones. We're gonna open up our Instagram account, and we are going to scroll all the way manually. Scroll through your timeline to your own timeline, and you're gonna scroll down to your first post ever.
Oh my God.
On Instagram?
On Instagram. So we're gonna see what you guys' first post was.
Oh
Go.
my God.
Do it now. Get your phone out.
God.
Scroll all the way.
Oh my God.
We're taking this idea. Shout to Gary.
Shout out Gary.
Well, I know what my first post is, but I think I archived it.
Keep
because
going. It's gonna take a while, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna do this. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Do it, preach. Keep going. Josh, do it.
Oh my
hold
God.
the camera.
Where
Do it,
was I?
Just keep scrolling.
That's so
Oh
funny.
my God.
Keep going. Keep going.
It's funny looking back at these. Wow.
There's a lot
We're
of
taking
pictures,
taking a page
archived.
from
This
Gary
is like
V.
a life journal right here.
You guys want to
Like,
know what Oprah's first post was on Instagram?
What
We did
was
on
it?
Oprah's. It was a fucking picture of her and Gary V.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was the flex of all flexes.
Yeah, Gary.
From my man Gary. So keep posting, guys. If you're listening, I want you guys to do the same thing
Yeah.
while you're listening right now. Unless you're driving or you're holding a baby, whip out your phone. Okay.
Follow BLAPCHAT.
Follow BLAPCHAT. Go to Instagram and go scroll
Oh my God.
through your timeline all the way. I don't give a fuck how long it takes.
Oh my God.
Scroll
I got
all the way
mine.
to your first post.
Yo.
I got my first
Hold
post.
on. Go to your first post, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna screenshot it, and you're going to tag us at BLAPCHAT on Instagram.
Oh my
Okay. So
God.
tag BLAPCHAT, repost it on your Instagram page, your first post, and then you're gonna tag BLAPCHAT at BLAPCHAT, BLAPCHAT on Instagram. Tag us. We'll go through them and we'll make fun of you in a future episode. No, we'll shout you out, but go do it. Scroll down. Do that now. Atlas, you're the first one. What do we
Yo.
got? Pointing to the camera.
This is
What is it?
crazy. I don't know if you can actually get a close up of that.
So it looks like signatures
On a door.
on a door.
Wow.
Okay,
This is-
read it. What's the caption?
So what it is, well, I want to make sure, Josh, you got it? Okay. So the caption, let me see if it is a caption on this. So no caption. I didn't
Okay,
write
when was
anything.
it? When was it?
June 25th, 2012.
2012, June 25th.
So this is a picture of a door in a recording studio. I think it's Quad. I think it's
Okay.
Quad in like the B room. Smoky Robotic.
Wow, I see Sound Association too.
This is me. I put my name on the door. I put Sound Association was a studio that I opened in Times Square, which is still there. Soundassociation.com if you need the book. Sound Association, and I wrote my name and I wrote Smoky Robotic.
Amazing.
Look at that, Il.
Amazing, I see it.
Let me see.
Amazing.
This is crazy.
Smoky
So that-
Robotic.
so
Smoky Robotic was a group that I was a part of years ago, and we made some really good music. That's how I met Atlas.
Yeah, that's how you met me.
They know the story.
Yeah.
That's
And
good
look,
times.
look at this. I only got 2 likes.
2 likes. Hey, 2012 it wasn't really popping.
Make sure y'all
I
go
got
back to
2
that picture
likes.
and like it.
Yeah, 2012 wasn't
Yeah,
popping.
follow me, Atlas the Plug, one word, Atlas the Plug on all social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my IG.
Perfection.
Wow.
What you got? Show the camera.
This is
All
a
right,
great
what is
game.
it? What is it?
So this is a picture of me in the studio back
see.
in 2012.
Wow, 2012 was a big sign up year.
Wow.
So this is what made you sign up for Instagram. Post up a picture of me in the
And
studio.
you had the filter with the
Yeah.
This is
A whack ass
dope.
filter, but
That
Yeah, that
filter's
was-
kind of cool.
that was like
I like that filter.
Yeah, that was a studio in the
3
Bronx.
comments. Nice.
Damn, you got 39 likes and shit. God damn.
Perfection in the studio. Makes
Lit.
sense.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was when I was like really first like going hard with the
Going hard.
idea of like
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I was like one of the first studios, these guys called the MVPs, a group of producers. That was like their spot. So I used to like kick it with them a lot
Sick.
and like just get insight. That's when I was like using FL, and I used to, just kick it with the guys in the studio and hear
Yeah.
their production and just talk a lot about music and work on ideas and shit like that. Some little joint in the Bronx
Yeah,
up there where I'm from.
Sick.
So yeah.
I love it.
That's
Preach. What
fire.
you got? Wait, hold on. I gotta. All right, Preach. Show the camera. Let's see.
So this is a candy I found at like some bullshit store in I think it was Philly,
Wow.
and it was
what is
a
that?
white guy with just August 4th, 2012,
Wow.
and it's
2012.
and I don't know what the fuck I was
Was
looking
that
at.
when Instagram started?
It might have been.
It might have been. And for some reason, I just said, "What kind of shit is this?" And it's like a white guy with grills.
Wow.
That they were selling.
Candy?
I don't know what it was. Like
grill candy.
Oh, grill candy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, it's kind of offensive.
And that made you. And that made you sign up.
Yeah, it made
wow.
me sign up.
All right, Josh. What do you have, Josh? One like. Okay. You can do it here.
Josh,
I'll hold it for
talk
you.
on the mic.
I'll hold it for you. This is Josh's first post.
Yeah, so that's
Bridge at Fort Talchin.
Right, as when Instagram first came out, I believe sometime
Point
around
it to
there.
the camera.
2012.
You see?
Wow.
And then I wanted to
How many likes you got on that?
one.
Nice.
I wanted to be a photographer at that time, so
Nice. There you go. Well, now you're still manifesting your
Isn't that funny?
passion. All
Yeah,
right.
now he's like a photographer, rapper, singer, producer,
Josh does
engineer,
everything.
dancer, videographer. This guy freaking does it all. Opera singer, director.
Exactly.
I hate
did.
you,
I'm not
Josh.
going to scroll through mine, but I already did, and I snapshotted it. My first post was basically, it's so fucking nerdy. This is like so
17,000 likes. Just kidding. It's probably
so dumb. Let me see. Where's it at? I'm gonna pull it up, but it's basically a picture of Voldemort's.
you got to show it. We all showed it.
Voldemort. It's a picture of it's a picture of Voldemort's wand. Damn, do I have it?
Is that
Maybe
the
I didn't
video game?
snapshot it. Voldemort is a character in Harry Potter, and I got it as a birthday gift. And it's Voldemort's wand, so that just shows how fucking nerdy I am. But then the second picture was me in the studio, if that makes sense. I don't have it here, but I'll repost it on my Instagram. Anyway, that was my first post. That was fun.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, cool,
That just,
right?
like, brought me back.
It's interesting to see like where like you start, and then like when you get to see like, oh shit,
Right.
like, I remember that. But it's funny, I mentioned too, like when you look at someone's Instagram, you can tell like the point at which some people, like celebrities and stuff, like new celebrities, like the point
When they made it,
the point at which they fucking got
when
money.
shit transitioned.
You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Like it goes
That is
from
a
like
fact.
it goes from like shitty pictures with like whatever,
Like
cool.
pictures of food.
McDonald's and shit.
Yeah, pictures of food and
Yeah.
fucking walking my dog to like, you know what I mean?
Now they're at
Canon-
STK
Canon
Steakhouse.
fucking selfie, you know, you could tell, okay, they got money
That's
now.
a fact.
Yo,
That's a
this
fact.
shit is hilarious, man.
Yeah, they go from like the little chain to like the big chain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
they
so
go
funny.
from like the really high end Volkswagen to like
Yeah.
the Benz.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Studio setup to like
Yeah, home
here at
studio
Record Plant.
setup
Fucking
to
in
like
Hawaii, in Hawaii outside.
quad in your house.
Right.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so interesting. It's such an interesting experiment. Anyway, guys, you should do this. Scroll through your Instagram account, go to your first post ever, snapshot it, repost it on Instagram, and then tag us at
BLAPCHAT.
BLAPCHAT. That's so funny. That's so
Damn.
funny.
Interesting looking back. Then like just
Yeah.
putting myself, and I'm sure it's the same for all of us, but putting myself mentally where I am now to where I was then is like night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was so naive and you know, thought I knew the game and thought I was hustling.
Word.
Man, I wasn't
Yeah.
doing shit.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? I thought I was, you know.
Yep.
Now I got shit popping, but
Yeah.
then it was like,
Yeah.
it was, you know, you were just trying to do whatever you could to
Just
get
trying
out
to do
there.
what you
I was
could.
like, you remember, Ill. I was going everywhere and anywhere I could, you know, just being
Grinding.
around and just, you know, we all done that.
Yeah.
That's why we are where we
But I
are
think
now.
those were the day and ages where, like, you know, things were like still new to us. So it was fun and fresh and passionate. So it's like you did have that confidence. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I got this. But
Yeah.
that's what helped, what drove you to keep going, you
Yeah.
know, and like drove you to be here now.
Exactly.
But then now it's like, okay, sometimes you got to reevaluate. Sometimes you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
And then pulling up to quad, like, oh shit. Isn't
Yeah.
this where like Pac got shot in the lobby or whatever happened? Like, oh shit.
Well,
well,
listen, there's a first time for everything.
Even though it was the B room, I thought like I was like,
right.
Yeah.
I thought I was signed to Atlantic or something.
Yeah.
You know, I was like,
Yeah.
this is awesome. You know,
Exactly.
so you know, if you're out there and you're grinding, like everybody's got to start from somewhere. Like it might be rough now, you might be broke, you might have no money. You know, you have kids, the wife's getting on you to get a job, man. But keep believing in yourself and don't quit. Just don't quit. But you know what's interesting? I was watching Joey Crack, Fat Joe. So he's got his new podcast.
Yep.
Did you guys see
Shout
on
out to Fat
title?
Joe,
The Coco Vision.
Coca Vision.
Coca Vision, and I'm a big fan. Shout out to Fat Joe. And man, he said something that just kind of like regarding rappers, which is very true. And you know, it just kind of blew my mind. And when I said it just now, like never quit, it's like there's kind of levels to that, because like I'm a big fan of never quit. Go get them, like. But sometimes you just gotta know when this might not be for you. And when he said this, it was like, he's so right. He's like, there's 40-plus-year-old rappers sleeping on like their wife's couch, still dreaming of you know, being a rapper. Right. You know what I mean? And like, you might want to reevaluate at that time in your life, you know, like what's your goals. Right. Maybe you're not a rapper. Maybe now you manage the next young rapper. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying give up on the music industry.
What? That's so interesting. I want to take it a step further because I think outside of the rapper thing, I think it's not as black and white. But I also think that, you know, I think there should be a kind of like perspective of, okay, I'm doing this like one thing, but I think it's important to keep tabs on your progress. Right. So like, let's take the rapper, for instance, sleeping on, you know, girlfriend's couch. Right. 46 years old. Right. Rapping since they were 20. So that's what, 26 years?
Yeah, correct.
So 26 years of rapping, and they still haven't been successful. I think what that person needs to do is go back and recall when they first started to now, and then create a list of all of the stuff that they've accomplished, and then all of the failures, and then all of the sort of like reasons, almost like a diagnostic of what you did, and then just evaluate from there. Yeah. Because like you know, we talk about this all the time, like doing the same thing over and over, and then something not working, but then like never changing and never switching something up to make it better. It becomes, that's like, you become mad after that. You know what I mean?
You're very upset.
Like,
very upset.
Like it just becomes like
you start hating on other people's success.
Yeah,
which is a terrible thing.
It becomes a virus almost. So I think analyzing your shit is important.
Yeah, listen, you know? and then there's another rule. That two things, especially in the music business, that you do not want to do. One is that. And two, don't count anyone else's money. Like, just don't. You're going to drive yourself crazy.
Yep.
You know, just because your homie's big and your homies may like, chill. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Take a deep breath. You know what I'm saying? And also, too, even if you are 40 and you're sleeping on your girl's couch and you're a rapper, and, you know, maybe your time has passed and it already passed. But it doesn't mean you have to quit the music business, okay? Yeah. You could still be in the music business. You can manage rappers now. Right. Because you've been in the game, you know, you might not know what it's like to be successful, but you know what it's like to be an artist. So maybe you start managing artists. Maybe you start doing rapper events. You see what I'm saying? So like, you don't have to end your passion for music, because obviously you have a passion, which is why you're sleeping on the couch, and because you believe that there's something there. Right. You know, one comparison that drives me crazy is people like, well, Quincy Jones didn't do Thriller till he was in his 50s, bro. Shut up with that shit. Yeah. Quincy Jones has been doing shit way before Thriller.
Right, his resume is
retarded.
Crazy.
Yeah. Listen, crazy. Don't get me wrong. Jay did a Reasonable Doubt, I believe, when he was like 20-something, right? Right. In his 20s, right? Yeah. Is that correct? So, like, don't get me wrong. Like, you can be up there in age, but you don't have to quit the music business. Like me, look at me. Like, I started singing in the boy band. Right. Then I started like running a studio. Then I started, A&R for Ill. And then I started, building websites. And then I started, doing events. And I'm always just jumping around, because if one thing doesn't work, I'm moving on to something else. Right. But if it does work, cool, I'll keep that. And then I'll do something else. So it's like, even like, I love the whole Duce Palooza thing. Right. When it was Henny Palooza, Henny wasn't fucking with them. Yeah. They never sponsored nothing. Shout out to Rory, right? And those guys doing that, and but they just kept pushing, and then Duce eventually signed on, later on. But like, you could still be in the music / entertainment business not being an artist or a producer, even though you've pushed for years to do that.
Yeah, you gotta
There's
try
so
stuff.
many other things.
You gotta
and
try
you're
stuff.
a great example of that.
Yeah,
you produced, you did the kids, to pass the aux, to this, to that, the clubs, to this.
Yeah.
To pass the clubs and all that. So like, you know, I don't want people to be stagnant and think like if you're 40 and you're a producer, it's over. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. You just gotta think outside the box.
Yeah, you gotta try stuff. And if you're doing the same thing over and over and it's not working, at some point, like to homie that's 46, at some point when you were 35, you should have maybe, you know, there's something in there you should have did. Switch something up, try something different.
Yeah. And your homies and your friend, this is gonna sound really crazy, but your homies, not your really, really true, close homies, because they will always tell you the real whether you want to hear it or not. But sometimes your homies that are closest to you, and like your family members that are like your mom, your dad, no, keep pushing, dude. Your shit's dope. Keep going, bro.
Yeah, I think that definitely like there has to be a time limit in when you like really reevaluate shit. Because if like 30 years is a long fucking.
It's a long time. It's a long time. But listen, guys, in my belief is that age is really just a number.
Yeah,
really
for me, I feel like
it really
is. And then unfortunately, like, you know, for women, it's tougher.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like if you're a 39-year-old singer, it's like,
right.
Depends what lane you're trying to get into. It might not work.
Yeah.
Versus if you're like a 39-year-old rapper and you're good and whatever, you get in the right room and they fuck with you, it could work.
Right.
You know what I mean? But still, like, you know, you got to reevaluate after a while.
Maybe you move into songwriting.
Yeah.
Just strictly song, not being the artist. But you know what? Let me pitch my song. Or
even sit with someone and figure out what you're doing wrong. You know, maybe you're not putting yourself in the right circles. You know, maybe your music needs work and you're just not sure what needs fixing. You know
there's
what I mean?
a lot.
Like,
there's so many elements, so many factors that go into like why something works for someone and why something doesn't. You know, like we don't have the answers to that.
Exactly.
But I do believe that trying stuff is your gateway to getting closer to that. You can't just do one thing. Like if I listen, guys, I only speak from like my own experience. Like, you know, if I stayed making, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if I personally like stayed making beats to try to sound like Jay Dilla, who I idolize, I still influenced by him, and if I never branched out or never wanted to branch out, we probably wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
You know, if I didn't decide to like say, oh, I think a podcast might be kind of fun, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. You know what I mean? Like if I never would have met you because we never would have did Smokey Robotic.
You know what's the crazy thing is like I talked to my guy a lot about this, where we're like, there's so many small if it wasn't for.
Yeah, there is.
You know what I mean?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Like one thing leading to another.
Like if I would have never met a friend, I would have never probably had the conversation and pushed to be like, yo, I think I do want to produce. Because I remember I used to know this kid. Well, I know him, but like we used to hang out more often. You know, he used to be he used to be an aspiring rapper, right? He was younger than me. And we used to always talk about music, and he was always like, yo, I'm gonna be dope. But he never recorded anything. And he's like, I got all these notes, I got all these songs in my phone, but I'm just waiting for, I forgot what it was, for the right time for him to get. And I was like, dude, like, you got hundreds of shit written down and you're not recording. But we used to talk about music all the time, and you know, we used to just sit in the hallway and like just smoke and talk music. And that's, you know, one of those nights is when I was like, yo, I've been thinking about it, and I feel like I'm serious about really taking that direction and like, you know, tapping into music production. So it's like if we probably would have never had those conversations, that would have never triggered my brain to be like, yo, actually do this. And
so true.
If I would have never chose to like, you know, it's the littlest things. If I would have never went to this event, I would have never met that person.
If you never went to Engine Room, and never worked there,
if I would have never been introduced to one kid, he would have never told me like, nah, don't go to IAR, go to Engine Room.
It's crazy.
If I would have never met Angela at the store, you know,
but you want to know,
the designing when you were like,
but you want to know why those things did happen.
The universe.
the universe, but also
You.
also because you just did stuff.
Because you
Right.
if you would have never
'Cause you
went to
did shit.
Fancy, the
Right.
pop-up shop, we would have never met.
Right.
Remember that?
With Ryan Leslie.
With Ryan Leslie, we
Yep,
would have never
yep,
met.
yep.
We probably wouldn't be here
It's
either.
the perfect
Yeah.
storm. Like, you know, that's why I believe that you just have to go out and do shit.
Yep.
Just do shit.
That's a
Like, put
fact.
yourself out there. You know what I mean? Like go meet a person. Go have a conversation with a random person. Like, you know, like I push that all the time. Like, go to Starbucks and like go up to a stranger and have a
Yeah.
conversation. You know what I mean? Like, literally go do that. Like, you just have to go out there and talk to people. Do stuff. I don't think Homie G, 46, 48-year-old rapper, I don't think he went out and
No,
did.
he's playing NBA Live,
I'm dead.
smoking blunts and drinking 40s probably still of Old English.
Running around behind the camera.
Anyway, guys, listen, that's the moral of the story. Go out there and
Do shit.
And do shit.
Get it done, guys. Get it
Just
done.
do it.
Nike got the
Do it.
big,
Just do it.
They got the best fucking slogan. Go
Get
do
that
it.
unlimited Metro
do it.
card if you're in New York and just go, man.
Just go. Just
go
put yourself
everywhere.
out there. Stop being a lazy bum.
For real.
Bruh.
Crazy.
Listen, guys, we have a really amazing guest today.
Oh my
I'm
God.
so excited.
Classics.
Let's do
I'm so
it.
excited for this guy.
Classics.
We got the legendary Buckwild from DITC.
Oh,
He produced.
I got a story to tell.
What else?
Black Rob, whoa. I mean, that alone is legendary to me.
Word.
There's
Especially-
so many
Yo,
more.
the Biggie. There's so many. He's done
He's done stuff for Nas.
50 on the Massacre.
Evans.
Mike Geronimo, which is a little
Insane.
older, but I mean, this guy is done
Buckwild's
legendary.
hustle.
Digging into crates.
He has. He's a talker too, so I can't wait to.
Yes.
We can't wait to pick his brain. But the stories this guy has is insane. He was running around in these studios and like, he was just super relentless, like super aggressive. Like, oh, who's recording over there? Oh, Nas is over there. I'm gonna pull up.
Yeah.
Yo, Jay's over there. I'm gonna pull up. Oh, Biggie's in the studio. I'm gonna go pull up. And he would bring his beats.
And
with
this
him.
is before social media.
This is way before social media. So.
Sweet.
Ain't no
think,
DM and
guys,
blind DM in here.
Exactly.
He's showing up.
I think we can learn a thing or two from this guy, Buckwild. Legendary music producer. He's done some huge records. He's a pioneer. So much respect for him. And we're going to bring him in. We're going to pick his brain. So let's talk to Buckwild.
Let's get it.
The legendary.
Legendary is right.
Legendary is really the appropriate word for this guy, man. One of my favorite producers. We're honored to have him today. Let's give a warm round of applause for Buckwild.
Buckwild. Yeah.
What it do, brethren? What it do?
Excuse
what
me,
it
I have
do?
water in my throat. Chilling. First of all, thank you for coming, man.
Man, you know, anytime, man, anytime.
Yeah, Buck, man, we've known each other for a while now.
How long?
What? 2009, 2010, I think we met.
Let me see.
Something
It
like
was
that?
right after Little Brother's album when you was on that.
Oh wait, 2008.
10
2008.
years.
Yeah.
That was that man. When that Little Brother album came out, that was like the year for me where it was like, oh man, like
Everybody was like, yo, who's Illmind? I didn't know who Illmind was. Like, yo, this kid is incredible.
that's crazy, man. I'm still so humbled by that to this day. But thanks for coming, man. I want to just jump right in, man. Me and you have had a lot of conversations off record about so many things, man. You have so many stories. So, you know, most of our listeners here are aspiring producers, aspiring artists, you know, people that just want to get in that position. And I know you have a lot of really just like the gems that you have are so insane from the iStandard showcases and all that stuff. So I know you have a lot of that in you. So I actually just want to start by just flexing a little bit. So let's talk a little bit. Let's, you know, first, for those of you living under a rock,
Classic records, man.
I want to talk about a couple of the classic records that you've done and how they came about, because I think that is really valuable. You know, you were really busy in the 90s. Obviously, you're still busy now, which is a blessing, and all throughout the 2000s.
Super blessing.
Super blessed. There's one legendary record that you produced that I want to talk about, and it's the Biggie record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know,
Story to tell.
First of all, so in the 90s, I know moving around as a music producer was a lot different, and I think the thing I really like about you is back then you were moving around. You were extra aggressive and persistent with your music, and you were jumping into these studios. So tell us how that record happened, man, from A to Z.
Well, the first thing I always say, even telling people, everything is about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have the hottest beats, and it's like if no one likes you, they're not gonna pick your beats. For me, it's like I've been trying to get on big albums since.
Let's get the mic a little closer to you.
Ready to Die. Since Ready to Die days,
cool.
You know what I'm saying? And he liked the beats I do, obviously from before. But he was like, yo, you make dope beats, but you ain't got nothing that's for me, And
this is Biggie saying this.
Yeah, he said it, To me, Biggie's like one of the greatest artists ever because easily because it's like he understands, him and Busta, they understand what music really is. So it's like sometimes now they just need a little class on it. But he always told me like, yo, you make dope beats, but you don't have nothing for me. And it's like, I didn't understand what it was. Sometimes a producer, you could take it as disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, I'm giving this dude 100 beats, 150 beats. So we go through Ready to Die. We go through Junior Mafia's album.
Mm-hmm.
And as a producer, sometimes the only thing you can feel is just frustration when it's like these things are happening. It got to a point where it's like I would always come to these sessions just to vibe and see what it is. And it's like the one thing I learned is like, you got to understand the artist's bounce.
Mm-hmm.
When you understand their bounce, it's like that right there, you have their pocket.
Right.
The pocket is very important in music. And it's like, I don't think even the rappers don't understand what a pocket is.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't understand it, it's like producers don't. So, I used to hang around, go to his sessions, come to his crib, me and my boy OG. We went to the sessions. We took my man LP. LP ended up getting on the album. That's how Get Money came about. Still kept on. It's like that album came out. It was successful. Had his car accident. Called me like, yo, I'm working on my album. Once again, I need some beats. I'm chained up to the house. My leg is broke. I'm going to send C's to meet you. I sent C's to meet him. Gave him a beat tape, maybe 10 beats, and I think he plucked around 4 or 5. He was like, yo, now you got it. It's like, now you on my vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And even with that, like I say, that goes back. It teaches you something. Like, you have to have, what we call now is the energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I believe any artist, if you want great records of somebody, it takes more than just like, yo, my beat is dope and you need to come and rap on my beat.
Yep.
The better your relationship, the more you understand how to produce for the artist.
Yeah, like being on the same frequency.
Right.
The frequencies is everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Too bad we know it now. You guys,
Yeah.
But it's very important, and it's like that's exactly was the start of what happened, and it's like too bad. This is like right before he died, because it's like of course we know he was penning Kim and he was penning C's, and he had a few records for both of them. So that could have been the start of something else. But
wow,
I've learned that, and it's like the one thing I take away is like, yo, you have to be personal with the artist. That's why I was always busting in sessions. I would always get a one-on-one with the artist because I believe when you go through management is cool, but it's nothing
it's not
better.
The same relationship.
It's not the same, and it's like I can remember. No, even recently, I can remember a time falling out of love with music. And 2 Chainz called me before when he was
Titty Boy,
and he changed his name to 2 Chainz. And it's like I didn't even know he was calling me. He was like, "Yo, man, I've been calling you for the longest, man." When I finally got in touch with him, he was like, "Yo, where you been?" And I didn't want to tell him like, "Yo, man, I kind of
lost inspiration
from this shit." But it showed me like even working with him is like, "Yo, I need this. What we did before, me, you, Luda, and Dollar, I need this." And even then, it's like I still wasn't like, But it takes time to get into your groove for a producer. So, getting back to the record, it's like, yo, those frequencies was there. And it's like for him to be the artist he is and understanding, the musicality and what he brings. And it's like even having a beat where it's like it's right in his pocket. That was the record right there.
Yep.
So what transitioned for you? Like you said that he told you now you got it. Were you like studying his sound more, trying new things? How did you finally reach the point where you got his sound?
Well, to me, I think it was just like, one is I believe it's the energy. The more you're around a person, you'll become on the same frequency.
True.
And number 2, it's like you have to humble yourself. because you can do beats for everybody. When I was giving them beats, I had sessions every day of the week.
Right.
And not sometimes in the daytime, but it could be day and night. And sometimes it'd be around the clock. And when you working with everybody, you're like, yo, man, why he won't pick a beat?
Right. Like,
so
I got
your
shit.
ego is there, but then it's like you got to remember the humbleness to be like, okay, what can I learn from this if this isn't happening? And I'm pretty sure Illmind will understand this, because it's like he's probably been through his own trials and tribulations. It's not always the days when you walk in and people gonna pick what you got.
Right.
Because Big was one person. He didn't care what you did. Today, people care what you did. You walk in the studio, if you're like, yo, I just did Jay-Z new album. I need 5 beats. You can play 5 of the worst beats in the world,
and
they're going to take it.
Right.
So you dealing with different modules, and it's like you dealing with a person who wants to challenge you is who you are, so you can be the best. And when you look at his album, 10 million plus says a lot.
That's crazy to just be a part of that era,
you know,
with someone that major.
Yeah, so Buck, let's talk about that a little bit. So I actually kind of low-key know the answer to this, but for those who are listening, when you were on that grind, running around with Big, and, even Big L, we'll talk about that later, you were really heavy going into the studios. And I remember the first time you told me that story of how you were just jumping into sessions. Oh, who's over there? Let me pull up over here. You got your beats with you. Obviously that worked out for you back then, and you were able to create legendary records. How do you feel about the production game now, kind of comparing the grind in the 90s, early 2000s to now having the internet and being able to, DM,
shoot a DM,
which by the way has worked a few times, but can safely say that most likely doesn't work. What's your opinion on moving around as a music producer, getting into these rooms? Is it the same? Is it different? And what do you like to apply for your own stuff?
Well, to me, it's like I always look at it as, to me, it's always a sport. I love Illmind, but I always want to hear what Illmind got. Because it's like I always believe steel, sharp, and steel. Steel, sharp, and steel.
Right.
Yep.
So to me, that's the first aspect I take. And it's like when it comes to I believe the best records are personable. Like, it's a lot of artists who work with, even you give a 50 Jay-Z, and this is from my time, 50 Jay-Z, Puff, even Fat Joe, where it's like I've been in a studio where it's like we're producing other people's records. And when you take that then, and it's like that could be 10, 12, 13, 14 years ago to now, the artists aren't being produced. So because they're not being produced, and I just seen, the Migos, like, we're the inventor of this flow. No one's challenging. Right. No one's directing. No one's producing.
Right.
So if you're just not producing, you're just sending a beat. It's like sending an email.
Right.
If you send an email to somebody and it's like it comes back like that, that's like assembly line. And there's no disrespect to anyone, but I always aspired. I always wanted that record. So to me, it's like if I'm doing beats right now for majors, I look at the records that are hitting and not just streaming a lot. I want the records to sell. Because to me, it's like I always thought one thing, and this was important. It's the difference between records you listen to and records you buy.
Right.
The records you buy are more personal.
Yeah.
So therefore, we have 3 artists, and it's like that sell records. Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake.
Right.
Everybody else is highly streamed. And if you don't believe me, what I do also, I go to Hits Daily Double.
Yep.
Streaming sales, album sales.
Right.
Everybody's number one. You don't need a big number to be number one. When we were having number one albums, it's like I think he put something up, and I was like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. You could go to Billboard, and you could get plaques for number one albums. I would love to wake up on Tuesday and see, oh, we number one.
Right.
Yeah.
How much we sold? 400 and something. Oh, we number one. How much we sold? 1.1.
Right.
Yep.
So I believe these days can happen, but it's just like, I think people from my time have to kind of bond with the people who are in the middle and the people who are new and help make it cohesive and make it do what it do. Like I have a bond with Illmind. If he calls me, it's nothing. So what about the younger producers?
Yep.
Like even Vidon, and it's like, it's a bunch of other young cats. I believe like, you have to make a community. And with that community, it's like you could share secrets and you could share ideas and it's like you could teach them, this is what works. Like most cats don't know. They'll get an Illmind, they'll get a BLAP-KIT, not knowing that your drums have to be in key with your music.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's many things that a lot of kids don't know as producers. They think like, all right, cool, yo, I got Logic, I got Fruity Loops, I got Ableton, I just bought this, but my beats aren't sounding right. Why aren't my beats sounding right? Your ears is what does it.
Right.
So I believe to these kids, it's like, yo, man, you got to practice your craft. I don't care who you are. If you're 35 doing beats, 40 you just starting. If you're 12, you have to study your sonics and you have to practice your craft. I've been listening to him for a while, and it's like he's had it mastered for a while. And you know, people can pretty much tell who has it.
Right.
When the first records I heard from him, I was like, oh, he got it. Because he was on the album with Ninth Wonder, and he stood out.
Right.
Everyone doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of focus on that with these people.
Yeah, I agree so much. And like, you know, being able to just, like you said, community, I love that word. Just like, you know, how can we connect, like, you know, what you guys were doing in your era, and then like when I was coming up, and like we were talking about this earlier, like where my peers, like in the 2000s, where we were like nobodies, was like, you know, the Boy Wonders and the Sound Waves and the Jake Ones, you know, just trying to get our feet wet. And then now, you know, even the new generation, like how can we all kind of learn from each other, you know, with the technology evolving. It's so interesting because I do believe that what you guys were doing in your era was special. Just something about what you guys were doing.
Definitely.
It's competitive. It was super competitive. For me, I came up in a time Q-Tip, Large Professor, DJ Premier, Dr. Dre.
Jeez.
Like when you look at like the competition is super thick. So it's like, you know, even with rapping, like Big L used to be like, yo, you should rap. You make beats. It's like, I'll write your album for you. And I was like, come on, B. It's like, look at the cats who are out. You know, you got Mace, you got Jada, you got Finesse, you got Big, you got Jay-Z.
So you're telling me there was a point in your life where if you decided to do it, you could have launched your rap career with Big L writing your raps.
I could have had everybody writing for me. Let's think about it. Working with that, all it took is one record. So if I had one record, then all of a sudden, if I'm in the studio with G-Rap, y'all need a verse. It's me, G-Rap, and Nas. Why don't y'all write a verse so I can get on Fast Life? See, but this is what I'm saying. Like, in a time, it's like I believe you do what you're best at. In this time that we have here, it's like we're more or less like we do what we think works. And it's like I want to wear too many things. It's like you have to be a master of one. You got to master one thing first, and it's like a lot of cats don't do that. Yeah. And they aspire. It's like they'll see you, they'll be like, oh, I want to do what he does. They'll see Boy Wonder, oh, I want to do what he does. They see 40, I want to do what he does. And it's like they'll see all of these cats and want to do so many different things, but don't have anything mastered in their own lane. It's only a few cats who have their own sound mastered, and it's like I believe that's what makes them special.
Yeah. In terms of being a music producer.
Right.
In terms point blank, like even artists, it's like a lot of artists is like I couldn't get on a record and do the same flow that the Migos do. I wouldn't feel dope. I couldn't say, yo, I'm dope, I'm special. You know, when you look at guys, and you know, a lot of guys who made it, who are that successful, you know, the youngest is who? Kendrick and J. Cole, right?
Yeah.
After that, Rick Ross and 2 Chainz, everybody else, these guys were well seasoned. But we have
and let's not forget, Cole and Kendrick were grinding for a long time too.
But they also had good how can I say this? Good internships. Internship is very important. Who is your mentor is very important, because if you don't have a great mentor, it's like it shows you where you're going to go. You know, so for Cole, if he spent all that time with No ID and, you know, Jay-Z, come on now, look at the jewels he probably got. Kendrick, everybody on the West Coast co-signed him. Look at the jewels. So it's like, I think, you know, with a lot of young cats, practice on your craft and then seek those. It's like, don't be like, yo, put me on. Put yourself out there so you could get noticed. Stop putting your hand out and telling people like, yo, you need to quit so I could get on. If Jay-Z quit rapping, it ain't another person who's inspiring the Rick Rosses and them who inspire the young dudes. So what does that do? Who's going to fill that void? Who's going to come in and be that Rob Report rapper who put everybody up on the latest fashion and luxury things that make, you know,
it's crazy. Cream rises to the top. I mean, look at Kanye. Kanye worked his ass off to get the attention of No ID. I mean, obviously now we know
he's known No ID. I met Kanye going to Chicago.
Wow.
With No ID.
When was this?
this got to be like 94, 95.
So this is before No ID mentorship or during?
It's like, you know, he's like, yo, I'm gonna be that guy. So right there, it goes back to what I say, speak into existence, you know, and you know, when you vibrate at high frequency, it's like eventually these things are gonna happen. When he tells the story of how he got on, it's like inevitable. You can call him cocky, you can call him whatever you want to call him. I just call him confident. Yep. And I think everyone should have a certain level of confidence to him. But you don't have to rub people the wrong way. And it's like sometimes people don't want to hear it because they don't have that confidence. So for Kanye, he exhumes that, and a lot of people never understood it. That's why he got the flack he did.
Yep.
You talk about inspiration a lot, but then you mentioned that you lost your inspiration and like love for music at a point. When did that happen, and how did you get it back?
That's funny. I wanted to ask the same because you said it earlier. I was like, we have a lot of producers that look up to you. So to hear that from you and to hear like your journey and how successful you are, I know there's producers out there that feel the exact same way.
Because I think it's creatives, we always like at one point reach a point that we feel like that, whether some, you know, more than
your
others.
Highs and lows.
And I've definitely felt that way, you know, with like growing pains and just, you know,
just
so many changes in your life. And it's
Yeah.
just like trying to, you know, keep going and figure out what you're doing and if you're doing the right thing and just being overall just being inspired to keep creating and doing what you love. So like I'm always inspired to hear other people feel that way and how they overcame that.
Well, and to me, it was a series of things. One, it was the time when all the studios in New York shut down.
That was hard.
Because when you look at it, you could go on Sony and all your peers are there all the time. Once you could get past and I always said this, if you could get past the front desk in Sony, you could get a check that night.
That's crazy.
That's one. Soundtrack shut down. Right Track was like, you know, that was one thing. Part two was a lot of the artists was going south. With a lot of artists who was like no creativity. You got to remember, being from New York, we're supposed to be special.
Right.
And New York is not New York City. It's New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Philly. We produce some really special producers, rappers, MCs, singers, etc. But I think when it came to it, when people were seeing the South was winning, they were winning, but they was doing what they always did. Like what they was doing was something like 3 6 Mafia. They were you know, the Memphis sound was it. And you know, it's that meeting place of, you know, of camaraderie was gone.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't walk into, you know, Sony anymore and go downstairs. They used to have a little room with a booth, and it's like you could just sit there and 3 or 4 of your favorite producers, all of a sudden you got BLAP, where it's like you sitting there and it's like y'all got your own sessions going on where it's like, yo, I just made this right now. And then somebody else might play something and be like, damn, my shit ain't that hot. Let me go home. So those things right there, it's like, to me, it turned me off, and I was like, yo, you know what? I was just chilling. Then on top of that, like 50 albums just sold, Game sold 4 million, 50 sold 10 million. So after that time, who else was there? I forgot. Joe album, that was 1 million. So like, all right, cool.
Eminem.
I'm saying these were the album I was on. So when your residuals is coming in, you're like, okay, cool. Let me just chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know, and during that time, I could remember, you know, getting a call from Terrace Martin. And I had just closed my studio, and Terrace was like, yo, and it's the same time with the 2 Chainz thing. Terrace was like, yo, man, yo, if you got your studio, my boy Kendrick is going to be out there. And I was like, yo, I just closed my shit the previous week.
What year was this?
Shit, this had to be somewhere 2005, 6, 7. It's right before Section 80.
Okay.
Something like that. So when you look at it, just being like, Terrace is a good guy. The one thing, when you have these relationships with people, like, they think of you in those times. And I was like, damn, you know what? Maybe it wasn't just my time right there in the universe. Because it's like, if I was on doing what I was doing that inspired, who knows what would have happened or transpired from there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So even like finding it again, it's like, I understand what it is and how things work now. And I draw from the inspiration of my peers and those who I think is dope. And, you know, I don't listen to radio.
Why?
I don't think
you don't
anyone
like
listens
what's
to
on
radio.
it?
I don't listen to radio because it's like, it's nothing. All the dope shit is on the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
You can find
and
whatever.
plus, anything that's on the radio is most likely on the internet too.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to hear the same record every 8 records.
No disrespect
Facts.
to broadcast radio, but I think most people don't listen to radio anymore.
It's not
I think
for,
only when you're driving.
Only when you're driving.
Kind of.
It's not for the creative person.
No.
If you're creative, it's like it's cool to have a record on the radio, but I don't want to listen to Hot 97 all day.
Yeah.
Because when you listen to it, everybody's show, you're going to hear the same record. So therefore, if I could get more of a variety, I always like the new stuff.
Yeah.
So if I could find somebody new, like I just got up on some other kid, I think his name Quincy White from LA. Dope kid. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on everything. I'm trying to see what I can find that's inspiring where it's like, wow, this is really dope.
Yeah.
And this is what makes me want to do music. Not the fact of, you hear it on the radio. Now, after I make a record, if it's on the radio, I want to see how many times it could play.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't really care to be like, all right, let me turn on 105. Or...
Yeah, you don't go to radio for inspiration.
No, you don't.
The point.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's just really to see what people are listening. Real quick question for you. DITC, I'm a big fan. Big L, I'm a big fan. And we were talking earlier, and I wanted to ask if you were there.
And today is the day of Big L's death day.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to ask about Big L.
Rest in peace, Big L.
Rest in peace, Big L. Rest in peace.
He was the greatest ever at putting wordplay, compound metaphors together. And that's something even with a lot of young cats, they don't really understand. Like, they be like, yo, Big L is dope, but they don't understand what it takes. Like, being a word contortionist, it's like that takes a special skill as an MC. Right now, it's like we don't have to worry about that because even when you listen from Puff Daddy to Baby on down, and it's no disrespect to them, but when you see success, you're like, well, shit, I don't have to be as complicated and do all of this stuff. Biggie was simple but complex.
Yep.
It was simple, but it's like if you're an MC, you'll catch the triple metaphors. You'll be like, wow, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
But when you listen, you're like, okay, I could just talk about money all day and how many bands I got, put the bands in my face.
But he made it sound crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He made it
so did
sound
Jay.
crazy. Oh, Jay too.
This goes to what I'm saying. I used to live on 143rd and Lenox.
Wow.
Yeah, and right. So we were talking earlier about the Bronx and all that. But anyway, I used to live on 143rd and Lenox, and I used to walk down and see the Big L mural and just kind of where everything had happened and all that. And when Big L, let me back up. When Jay-Z and DMX battled, I know Big L was filming. He was the one filming on the camera when that battle actually happened. Were you there for that?
Nah, I wasn't.
You weren't there for that. Okay.
L was, for some reason, L was everywhere. And it's like, if you know L, like even in that park, L put a lot of battles together in that park.
Wow.
Like he would secretly set somebody up and be like, all right, yo, come through.
The one on 145th?
Right there, the park
And
on
Lenox.
140.
Yeah.
Right
Okay. Oh,
there.
yeah, on 140. Right.
Where
okay.
the basketball court.
Copy.
So even he would have people come through and he set up battles. Before you know it, it's a cypher and dudes is going at it.
Right across the street from the mural. Yeah, exactly.
So, like, even you look at him, like, people, like, we look to draw inspiration from whatever's there. And with that, like, yo, he was just that guy with that. He wanted to be the best, like, and when you look at it, one of the dudes who was the best when we was coming up, which was Big Daddy Kane, he was very inspired by Kane, and he knew about Jay-Z before everybody else knew about Jay-Z. And if you listen to his album, Jay-Z is on one of the records on his album.
Is it true that he was supposed to sign? He was supposed to be the first member, like the first guy signed to The Rock before Jay?
No, he was signing to The Rock. This was right before he died.
Right.
I can remember because I was doing management with Dame. And L was going to sign to Rockefeller.
Right.
So that would have been pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? And just look
Man, can you imagine the records that would have happened?
I see.
He was there, though.
Oh, he was.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with making records, he was there.
Right.
Because it's like, you got to remember, this is right off of Ebonics.
Okay.
And it took L a little while to write Ebonics. And this is why I say the patience of an artist.
Right.
Like, in this time, it's like people... We put out a lot of fast music, like, yo, I'm going to just do this and throw it out. But sometimes the greatest records are the ones that are sometimes nurtured because it's something that sets apart from everybody else. And to me, it's like if any artist I want to work with, that's what I want to teach them. Like, yo, sometimes you got to take your time. And it's like you got to... It's like playing basketball. You got to have a court vision. If this is the basketball court, I can see all the players from here, and it's like I can see the play that I want to run in order to score, whether if it's going to be a three-pointer, a layup, whatever it may be. So for every artist, it should be the same way, even producers. Like, what I always know this, whatever you do as a producer, when you put that out, people are going to copy it.
Yeah.
And it's even more now because we live in the internet age, and it's like cats are having their first beat on the internet. So it's like when people are like, oh, you know, oh, he biting your style. No, he's learning because it's like he has to have a blueprint.
Right. Got to have a blueprint.
So when you get that blueprint and people are like, yo, you know, damn, this sounds like Illmind's beat.
Yeah.
You know, that's the blueprint. And it's like,
AKA type beats.
Right. Exactly. I was
Type
going to
beats.
say that. Yep.
You're describing the type beats.
you know, but
And you can't be mad at it because
Nah.
you need a blueprint.
Right.
Everybody starts.
I had
with
a
type.
blueprint.
it's all love. Because
If I had Twitter in 2003 when I was trying to be Dilla,
Right.
I would be uploading. I would be uploading
Ella
Dilla type beats.
by Illmind.
But
But
it's all cool. You developed into yourself, and that's what it is. I think with a lot of new cats, you got to let them develop into themselves. And what's happening is, if you can't afford a beat from a major producer and one of the younger cats have one, what happens is you snatch it for him because you might pay 3 to 5 instead of paying 25 to 35 or 40.
Yeah.
And then what happens? This new kid is catapulted in, and it's like, you know, it's like a food system. You eat it and you shit it right out.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, that new kid, he don't know what's going on because he's like, damn,
Undertrained. Yeah.
what did I do wrong? It's like no one's calling my phone.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? I want to ask you something, and I want your opinion on this because this is so like, in my mind, we're like entering dangerous territory. So I want to talk about the 70s, right? So 70s soul was just like such an amazing era where there was a lot of magic that happened in music. And in the 80s, hip hop in the 80s, let's say in 80s and 90s hip hop, that was sort of like the birth of the hip hop music producer, sort of in a way, with beat machines, all that stuff. So producers in the 80s and 90s were sampling 70s music, for the most part, soul, right? And then in the 2000s, from 2000 to 2010, still sampling 70s soul, still. 2010 to 2020, which is the era we're in now,
The millennial.
we're still going to the 70s for a lot. I mean, you look at Bruno Mars, his style, this is going even above sample-based 70s music. So now, basically what's happening is for the past 30, 40 years, we've been going to the 70s for inspiration.
We've been regurgitating also.
Right. So how, in your opinion, and this is not even just in hip-hop, just in general, how long can we keep this up? You know, and will there be another era of music or a decade of music
Like the 80s?
That's just as impactful as the 70s? The 80s were impactful too, but I feel like with every decade that goes, becomes less and less impactful.
That's true. I think it's just a matter
is
of
dangerous.
I think it's who wants to be great and not just popular.
Yeah.
Like when you
That's
look at it,
true.
if you want greatness, like I'll give you a time. When we did Rob's record, Whoa, that was in a time where it's like it was just Manny Fresh and Swiss Beats all over 2000. That's all you heard. Only thing you heard was Rough Riders and Cash Money. So making that record, it's like you got to understand for it to stick out and be able to cut through. It took a lot of going through records and going through samples and finding ideas to try to get something to cut through. And to me, that's only the part that's competitive. Like we're in an age where it's like people aren't really competitive. Like we might be competitive with each other,
Right.
the guys who are really doing it because we love what we do. Because it's like if you ask the guys who are great, you say, hey, if you wasn't working or making money if you wasn't making money, you was just working, would you still be doing this? Would you be collecting records?
Right.
Hell yeah. Still be DJ, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
a love for it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Everyone doesn't love it. And when you don't love it, the love it shows.
It shows in the
And
music.
it's like no one cares, and it's like it's no care to it. They feel like I'm getting money. It's like I just believe that the music is being pimped like prostitution. When you look at it, it's no
That's a good
love. Like
point.
no one really is like, yo, I just want to be that.
But I think
dopest.
it's
So
kind
do you
of
think
like
people in the 70s like really loved it?
Yeah,
I believe they did.
But
I believe so too.
I think it's also like what you were saying, you know, it's like people are always rushing to put out music, and it's like the quality of music too. People aren't, you know, taking their time to make like great songs. I think with like social media and streaming and things like that, people feel like put out music, just put it out. So they're like making stuff that's cool for the moment, but it's not shit that's like, you know, it's gonna last, where you're like, yo, that was an era like that time.
Yeah.
You know, because again, like, you know, the soul music, the 70s and the 80s, like people were actually really, they were musicians, you know, like when we always talk about like Quincy Jones, like, you know, those kind of guys were like, were playing instruments, you know, they had musicians, like they thought the music out. They had a vision. They thought the music out. Now it's just like, you know, which is nothing wrong with it, but that's where I think it comes from also, is like there's no longevity because everything's just being rushed, forced. Like,
yeah, I don't think we know the repercussions of what we're doing as music creators. Like because we're in it now. Like in the year 2050, are they going to go back? Are they going to go back to 2018 and say, yo, 2010 to 2020 was legendary?
No,
maybe.
I think there'll be things to look back on.
No, I actually think you're seeing it now more in R&B. They're taking like 90s R&B records and they're flipping them into like hits now. You know what I mean? Like DJ Khaled just did it with the Santana joint, right? And then what's his name? Singer.
Let me stop you for a second. How long do you think it's going to be before they go back to Maria Maria? This is what you got to understand.
Yeah.
Like, flipping a record is just, like, I've seen it. Like, the past years, people are just taking records that were hits, and it's familiar, and it's like, because you know what the vibe was like.
That's what I'm talking about.
But what happens is, the music is one part, but the one thing that I think Generation X, which is this generation, doesn't understand, even the movers and shakers down to the people starting out, lyrically, you have to have a connection with people.
Yeah.
Mary was great because she had a connection with people.
Right.
Big had a connection. Jay-Z had a connection. Kendrick has a connection. Drake has a connection. Drake is like, to me, a modern day LL.
Yeah.
Yep. He'll make the girl records and then he'll just body the other dudes on the lyrics.
Right.
J. Cole, modern day Kanye. He has a connection with people. So it goes back to it. If you want people to talk about this, we have to implement greater artists who are risk takers, who want to connect with people. Because we listen to music when we going through things. We listen to music because of how we feel. Everybody ain't got money, so all of these songs about turning up, and it's like you in a club and all this other stuff. All that shit come and goes. It's like it's a hamster wheel.
Yep.
One on, one off. One on, one off.
That's so funny you say that, because Royce the 5'9" I think he tweeted it, or it was in an interview or on Instagram somewhere. He just said that not all music is, not all people listen to music in the club. Like, there's millions of people that listen to music in their car. There's millions of people that listen to music when they're working out. There's people that listen to music when they're cleaning at home. Yeah. So there's so many different types of flavors for everyone. But it seems like, I guess specifically in hip hop, you know, we're all kind of just focused on the club.
Because it's like a pond. What happened in music is this. It's like if you had a big pond with a lot of fishes and it's a lot of food for people. Now the pond is small and it's like it's only a little bit of fish in there and it's like you got to gas for air. So what all of these marquee artists that we have from the 90s are doing, they swinging for the fences trying to get a hit record. And it's very hard to get a hit that lasts decades. What they forgot is like, yo, I can put together a body of work because I know how to make something that stands for something. Talk to your people. If you 40, 35 to 50 and you're an artist, talk to that demographic of people. Because then what happens, the people who are now 20 to 35, when they come up, they're going to discover your music. So you have to talk to your people, and hip-hop is the best it's ever been because you got so many lanes. The problem is, I think everyone wants to be the same, where it's like, oh man, the Migos is lit. They turned up. I want that shit. I need to do that. And I say them because it's like they're like the most influential group right now. No one's like, yo, you know what? I want to be somebody different. Even how you see in the South. You had T.I. T.I. was like the king of the South. And you'd be like, damn, what happened? So I believe, and it goes back to this, these guys who are out there, they need producers who's going to say no.
Right.
That's not it. You don't need to be doing that.
Right.
If you do this might have a great effect. You need someone who's going to help shape the album. Quincy did Mike album at 50. sold 50 million records and 25 million records. It has nothing to do with an age thing. It's just a matter of your experience as a producer and who you could bring in. Like, he brought in Rod Temperton and all these other superstar cats who are well off producing their own stuff. But he put together, okay, cool, I'm running the show. You're not producing with me, but I need you to come in and write on this. I need you to participate with this. And it's all cool. I just think that people have to understand the roles and what they play, because for the older people, they're paving the way, and they are that example for the young people. And this is where the young people's getting it from. So if you're looking at the older people and they doing it wrong, if you're younger, you're going to do it wrong too, because you're like, oh, man, he got a record. It's like, nah, it ain't just about that. How can I sell my movement? That's
so more curation. Curation and less of the, hey, pick 15 beats out of 100 beats,
Which, and I'm curious, Buckwild, to know your take on, how do you feel about the type beats and the leasing, buy one beat, get two free thing?
I believe whatever you feel you need to do, you can try. But I just believe, like, the one thing I'm against, all right, if you're an artist and if you're a platinum artist and you're trying to get beats like that's cheap from inexperienced producers, your career fails. If you look at it, and it's like more than half, at least 75 to 80% of the marquee artists that we had that went to be like, yo, you know what? My last hit album was with experienced producers. Now I want to work with people who are less experienced. You lose that factor. You work with, like LL says something like, yo, give people 80% of what they know they're comfortable with and experiment with 20%. 80% of your album, make sure you got credible people. 20% of these new cats, help bring up the new cats. That's how you nurture them. You teach them to be great by the competition. Damn, I was on the album with Pharrell and them, and it's like, my shit didn't rock. You can't say Pharrell is old school. Look at this, what he's doing. Everyone who's from that time, they have a lane, and it's like, as we move up, this is how we supposed to teach them.
It's crazy that you said that, because when you look at the top of the food chain now, let's go one by one. Kendrick, right? He's one of our champions right now, if not the champion.
He is the champion.
He's the champion. You look at Kendrick, and you kind of analyze what you just said. Who's he getting on his albums? Who's he getting on his projects? What kind of curation is happening? You have Top Dog, who has always been involved. You have Soundwave. We were talking about him today a lot. Soundwave,
Punch,
who's been his producer for the longest time, like during K-Dot days.
Terrace.
Ali, Terrace.
Punch.
Punch. A lot of the TDE guys in there, Cardo is part of them too, they're keeping the curation in that circle, right?
That experience, they're growing.
The experience. And then when you look at Drake, you got 40, you got Wonder, and then they'll experiment outside a little bit.
But the core of it is what they have.
The core is what they have.
And that's why they're going platinum. That's why they're not just streaming, they're selling records. They're selling the movement. And it's sad, because it's like, you look at it a lot, especially living in New York. I look at New York, and it's sad. We don't even have an artist to embrace like Kendrick.
That's true. Yeah.
I was listening to Skyzoo. I'm like, damn, I've been knowing Skyzoo for so long. He's dope, but which one of these big, top dog producers gonna be like, yo, you know what? Or even not even producers, it's the artists. Which one of these artists from New York would be like, yo, you know what?
Co-sign him.
Let me co-sign you.
Yeah.
He was out there with Dre. It's like, maybe it went under people's radar, but it's like, yo, does it take someone from out of town the same way with 50 to come and, pop one of your guys off?
Yeah.
Like, even this is what's going on here. It's like,
I look at the same with like Joey Badass too. Like Joey,
same thing. But also, what they have to do, you have to be more personable with your OGs, like Kendrick does. Kendrick is very personable. So even when you seen his movement taking off, all of these people were already around him. So when you look at the young dudes from New York, you got to go out and you got to poly, because you need that knowledge on how to be like, yo, man, I want what Kendrick got. I want the whole city behind me. When I do my video, I want every single marquee artist and producer to be in my video if I have something big going on. And it doesn't happen because
I feel like New York music, like, people don't move as like, they don't move cohesively, like guys fuck with each other, like,
everyone said themselves.
Guys fuck with each other. You from New York, rappers, they're friends, la la la, but like, everybody still wants to be like the best. And I think as a creative, you want to be the best at something. But I think you can still build relationships with like other producers and other artists to kind of like
100%.
move the city, or like, yeah, I feel like, I don't know, New York has a lot of dope artists, but like there's not that one person, like, you know what I mean?
We need more
What about
curation.
identity? Like like I look at it like this. One reason I like Kendrick makes LA music.
Exactly.
Who in New York is making New York music?
Exactly.
That's a good question.
I'm sure there's people that can debate that they do, which is
people
you know,
will say they do, but when you look at New York and it's like coming from a certain time, look at the records that we have, and it's like, you know, me going down south, when I go to Atlanta, I go there with my family, and I ask people like, yo, what do they play in the clubs? They play New York records in the clubs. They like just the old stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
People aren't making records that you could dance to.
Right.
And as a producer, that's why I say producers have to do their homework.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just like, yo, I'm gonna flip this beat and I'm gonna chop this beat. Like even with Big Beat, like I wanted to chop a set of drums that I had, but I still wanted where people could dance to it.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be creative at the same time. Be like, yo, did you see what I did?
Right.
But when you go to the club and you see people moving to you, like,
Now that works.
it works. And it's like we also have to create an environment, and it's up to us. It's up to the producers. We have to create a body of work so the DJs here can have a New York set. Because otherwise, if it's one record, that's cool. But what I'm gonna play it in between?
Yeah.
So we need to, you know, we always speak with this. We have to find a system where we all get together and be like, yo, you know what? It's a lot of money on the table. If you make that, people want to see New York win.
Yeah.
Yep.
The problem is New York doesn't understand how to win.
And it's true when you think of it. Like you go to a club, you hear like all the hot tracks from everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I have a question: 444 or Damn?
To
That's
me,
a good one.
444.
Hey, okay.
Damn is dope, and I'm not gonna front. Like my favorite Kendrick album is his first album.
Okay.
Very, 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 very dope.
Yep.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like what resonated with me with 444 because Jay dropped a lot of jewels, some things people don't want to hear, but people are only blind to it because of what's going on.
Right.
And music, when it's like we don't know what's most important in our life, and it's like we need that. Like he broke everything down to the smallest molecule that you can really understand.
Yep.
And it's cool because when you get a great body of work, sometimes it might not resonate at first. Like you have a great idea, you might be like, yo, then all of a sudden you walk, oh man, you know what? I'm gonna take my idea I had and I'm gonna build on it because it was great. And I thought he put together a really dope album.
Yeah.
You know? And it's to be debatable with Kendrick, and it's two different generations.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
about
it is.
15 something years between. For him, that's a huge compliment because you're
Yeah.
comparing to one of the youngest who's the top dog out here eating.
Two different
Two
generations,
amazing-
two different cities.
Two absolutely amazing albums. Buck, what's next? What's coming up? What are you working on that you can mention? What are you focused on now? What's inspiring you?
What's inspiring me?
Yeah.
Man, just you guys doing beats, man. It's like hearing a lot of good music. Like Mayhem. Like I listen to Mayhem. I listen to Davies.
Yep.
Of course, you know, Westside, Conway, and Biggie.
Love them.
You know,
Love them.
and this is what it is. Like when I hear them like that, I'm like, yo, these guys are like just a few records away from
Right.
what could be a New York wave.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's dope because it's like just to have that dollar. They want it. They like, yo, you know what? We want what Ray and them had.
Yep.
We want what Mobb Deep had. We
Yeah.
want those records
Yep.
that ring off in the club with the beats to make you want to smack your mama.
Yeah.
You know, because music is an emotion. And it's
Right.
like, I think now it's like, it's lost the emotion.
Yeah.
Right. Or it's one emotion.
Yeah.
It could be one, but it's
It's
like,
just
that's
one.
why I say it's a great time.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hip hop is now what rhythm and blues was, where it's like it's spread out into different genres. And for you to have that, if you don't like emo rap, you could turn it off. If you don't like trap rap, you could turn it off. If you don't like 90s hip hop, you could turn it off. You could pick what you like, and it's
Right.
like you don't have to offend anybody else. Just pick what you like. Plug the aux cord in and do what you do.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of it.
Right.
That's
What's
it.
your first memory of Big? Not to go back to Big L, but like I'm just, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of what you do. Like, what was your first time hearing him spit? Was it on a tape? Was it on the corner? Was it on 140? In Harlem on the basketball court? Like, what was your first experience where you heard this kid and what did you think when you heard him?
All right. The first time I heard L, like I used to do mixtapes. Rock and Roll 125th. We used to do this thing called Hard Pack. Me, SNS, Showtime, a bunch of us. It was this one kid, D Wiz, and he was like, yo, man, they had cats rhyming, He's like, yo, I'm gonna bring my man through. I'm gonna bring my man Big L through. And it was me and LP, Easy LP. He was down with it too. So he brought L through. And L is like, yo, oh, you fuck with Finesse. Tell Finesse to come through. I'm gonna kick one rhyme. One rhyme. He kicked one rhyme. The next week, he kicked raps for us. It's like unbelievable. The next week, he kicked the rhyme for Finesse, and it blew him away. So I'd never seen a kid that young. I think he was 16 then. And he was spitting just as good as Kane and Rakim and everybody else. And that's what I mean. Like, today, there are special people out there. And it's dope that anyone can make music. It's not saying you shouldn't follow your dream. You know, look at Cardi B. Cardi B had the best year ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether if someone writes for her or
That's
not,
a fact.
if you rap, you like, damn, you know, I want a year like Cardi B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had the perfect
That's a
year.
fact.
So you can't be mad at her. You see her as like she's happy and she's humbled, and it's like she takes her success. She don't take it lightly. She's very, she's very humbled about it. But that's what people want. So whether if you're a super lyrical person or if you're a person, you got someone writing for you, that's what you want. But it shouldn't be a point where it's like, oh, you shouldn't be rapping because I don't think you're dope. Well, if I don't think you're dope, what about if I came out and 5 million people was fucking with me and they think I'm dope?
Right.
Exactly. Buck, we do this segment on our podcast called Blap or Crap. Okay? So check it out.
We need you, Buck.
This is what we're about to do. All
do
right,
it.
All right, Buck, check this out. So we're going to do this segment called Blap or Crap. And this is how we're
Do
doing
they get
it.
the shit emoji?
Yeah. No, this is what they get. They get this. They get shit like that. Audio emoji. Basically, we're going to choose a beat at random from a submission. We're going to play a snippet. If we like the beat, if you like it, you're going to give it a blap. And if you don't, you're going to give it a crap. And then you're...
So do I get the controls?
Yeah, actually, you're going to... Yeah, so if you crap it, you can give them a little bit of constructive criticism if you want. A little precursor here. Alice is a hater.
Yeah.
Alice is the Simon
He's the
Cowell
biggest hater.
of this.
I just know within
But
15 seconds if I like it or not.
But you know what's
That's all.
funny? They always say, and this is what I really dislike. I'm not going to say hate. Ever since Puff said, yo, people are haters, it's like, sometimes people just telling you the truth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you
It's
go.
like, if you
Thank
can't,
you,
like,
Buck.
we live in a time now, man, where
Thank
it's
you.
like Fat Joe used to say, yo, you're very opinionated. He said it. If you look on the back of Jealous Ones and we read the credits, shout out to Buckwild, who's very opinionated. Because he would call me and be like, yo, what you think of this? Because I'm going to tell him the truth.
Yeah.
I'm not the person to be like, yo, we friends and it's like we tight and I'm a yes you. No, I'm not going to yes you. That's what all these other guys is for. Let me tell you what's right and what's wrong.
man.
Exactly. So we're
Thank
gonna
you, Buck,
keep
for
it a
that.
buck. No pun intended. Our first submission is James Minor. Here we go.
It already sounds like something I heard before.
There you go.
But it's cool.
There you go.
I like it. I don't love it, but I like it.
All right, that was James Minor, our first submission. Buck, you were saying you like it, you don't love it.
I like it, but I don't love it. And it's like the one thing I like about doing production, and it's like, and this is what he just embodied right here. You have to leave enough room for the artist to paint. It's like the one thing I like, he left enough room for the artist to paint. So it's like that will determine where it will go. Like when you hear beat, it's like if you could listen to it when it first comes on, the artist is gonna determine if you or just chuck it away.
True. So what do you think, blap or crap?
I would blap it.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. By the way, you don't have to blap stuff that has potential. If it's potential but not all the way there, you can crap it too.
Well,
so it doesn't mean
this
it's all the way
this
bad.
This is the thing about potential. When it's like in that stage, that's how hits are made. Those were the records that
That's true.
are
That's
the
true.
classic records that we had.
That's true.
this generation, they look for the beat to already be there and carry them.
That's
It's like
true.
camel beats. Like, yo, you got to carry me because I'm such a weak artist that I need the beat to be so dope that when it comes on,
true.
Yeah.
and that's corny.
Yeah.
So it's like, shout out to these cats who make beats like this. It's just like we need artists who could carry themselves.
There you go.
Well,
Fucks with that.
on
Yeah.
that note, I'm gonna crap that.
Oh.
I'm gonna crap that just because I feel like the drums were kind of weak.
Yeah, true.
I like the melody. I think the melody was cool. I can definitely hear someone on that track. I feel like the melody was something that I kind of could have heard, you know, it was a bit kind of generic,
Right.
but it was cool. But I think once the drums came in, the drums didn't carry the melody the way it could have.
Right.
You know, I think he could have chose a different snare, something that slaps a little harder. I think his 808s were a little too low. I would play around with the drums.
See,
It wasn't a bad track though.
Now,
but-
here we have it. Let's play devil's advocate. He might not be an engineer.
Okay.
So
But
this,
but not
this
even
is,
but not even mixing wise. I feel like even that snare was a little weak
Yeah.
for for the melody.
Perfection has a thing with snares.
Yeah, I have a thing with snare.
like garbage can snares and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I don't think that I could hear a real heavy drum on this
Right.
because the one thing that I liked about it was being able to change. And
Definitely.
it's like
True.
putting a change, and I thought that was pretty dope.
Definitely.
Or maybe he just got to raise the snare a
the
little
change.
bit. I
I
just
like
feel
the
like
change.
What'd you think, Atlas?
Uh-oh.
Buckwild said, uh-oh.
He's keeping it a buck.
He listens to the show. Here's the thing. I wanted to blap it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie. I wanted to blap it. There were elements in there. I agree with Buck. There were elements in there. I was like, oh, shit. This shit's kind of hard. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if someone came and started spitting on it, I could hear it. My only issue, obviously, it was a slight mixing issue. It was just the sequence of it. Well, that's where guys like Buck and guys like Ill can come in and take the sequence and make it
Make it into
That's
something.
what happened.
make it into the actual produce and a smash.
But that's what you need because it's like when
Exactly.
you're trying to sell a beat, if you put it in a whole song format,
Right.
sometimes people be like, they don't listen to the whole thing. They be like, oh, you had a change? I didn't hear the change. So, but meanwhile, you'll get, and I have to say this, the parentheses, artists, they be like, all right, yo, you only did this for 6 bars. Yo, make that 12 bars for me and then take this change and make it 8. Everything is artist driven. So it's like, sometimes we could be a little hard on the producers
Yeah.
because it's like, I don't know, sometimes
Because of the final product that comes out.
it's the final. We ride on the producer so much.
Right.
It's a producer
Right.
driven. Yo, you might as well be like, yo, you sell a beat to somebody, be like, look, my name is the name of the song now.
Yeah,
Since you
yeah,
wanna
yeah.
ride my coattail.
Right.
Yeah. That's true. You bring up such a good point of like,
the
you know,
producer is the artist now.
not
That's
being
good.
afraid to let the beat become a song and really being open-minded about
Yeah.
that. Like, you know, this is not anything special, but this can be something.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
No,
there's
I
a good
agree.
point in that.
I think, again, it has a lot of potential. I think if somebody came in who was experienced like you guys,
Yeah.
that came in and actually produced the record from front to back, it can become something. Because there were
Where you
elements
EQs
in there.
everything, and it's
Yeah.
like you
Right.
get the drums
You
knocked
sequence
in,
it.
and you get the artist to get the right hook.
Yes.
that's what song making is like.
Exactly.
From when I came and I understood making beats, but after a while, it's like I learned how to produce songs. I think now we suffer in the song category.
Yep.
Like we suck at songs right now.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's
you know,
true. That's a fact.
It's like the beat's hard, but the song, yeah,
see
the
that.
song's okay.
Hit records are written.
Yeah, no,
their
that's a
records are
fact.
written.
That's
and
a
they're
fact.
fun to make.
Yeah.
When you look at it, you're supposed to have fun while you're doing it. Like, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was
Crap.
very close, but it's gonna be a kadab for me.
Yeah. We have a different approach when it comes to that
Yeah.
stuff. I'm gonna crap it too, but I'm with you, Buck. I'm with you though, Buck.
I'm sure he's gonna be excited that he got a blap from Buck.
Yo, you just made
But,
his whole
but at
life.
least I just explained it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but you're honest from the
I
heart.
respect
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
perspective
That's
though.
what
You hear it and
They-
you know you say how you feel.
People
But
need to hear that. They need to hear what they're doing so they can know if it's right or wrong.
Exactly.
But I respect that perspective though, because I'm sure there are a lot of records out. It's a fact that there are a lot of records out there, and even records that we've, songs that we've worked on that, it was an idea. It could have been a skeleton. It could have been something that we thought was dope, but then like it wasn't finished, and someone came in, you collaborated with someone, and it made it bigger and better, and then it made it what it eventually ended up being.
Exactly.
Well, I'll give you an example right here. Foxy told Trackmasters that I Got a Story to Tell beat was the worst beat she ever heard in her life.
Wow.
So when you look at it, and it's only an opinion because you're not
Right.
hearing the song.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is why I say, so when people be like, oh, why she couldn't hear it? it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't for her. Every beat isn't for everybody.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
even
That's
for
a good
these young
point.
dudes, like, yo, I say, yo, you know, instead of worry about sending beats to everybody, grab a young dude from your hood and practice with him.
That's what
Put
I
him
do.
in the studio.
Yep.
Is
That's
that-
what we say time and time again.
And
on
that's
this
what
podcast.
Zaytoven did with Gucci Man.
Yeah.
Is that beat Storyteller? Is that a 4-bar loop? And it's okay if it is because I love that beat.
What?
Is it a Storyteller? Is it a 4-bar loop? Doom 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 doom.
That's
That shit is so
the
hard.
perfect shit. It's perfect.
See, but that's when a 4-bar beat, like Primo's a master at that too. You just take the 4, the 4, and just.
But sometimes you get 1-bar loops. Like
That's what- yeah.
That's
like I
crazy.
did Stressful Organized. And French and them use it. This a 1-bar loop. Boom, 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 boom.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
See,
Oh
but
my
simplistic.
God. You fucked my head up right there, by the way.
Simplicity is the key to music. It's like when you make it simple, like that's what makes everything what it needs to be, and you can sprinkle the little things with it.
And that's the crazy thing about music is like it's so opinionated and subjective because you can make a beat that's so simple and then the next person's like, that's a little too simple. You gotta add this. You gotta add that.
Just gotta
you know
find
what I mean?
the right fit.
And when the vocal goes on, that's what changes the game.
Exactly. All right, our last submission.
one.
We got time for one more. This is a Soto So Dope. That's his name.
So dope.
So
Yeah. SOTO.
You good?
Oh, it's done.
I'm done.
That was
All
it?
right, that was Soto Beats.
So, Tony, I'll start.
Started off at.
I'm going to crap it.
Oh.
I thought it was, again, this kind of falls back into the other one where, like, there were elements about it that I liked, but I feel like I've heard that beat 20 times this week alone on submissions that have been emailed to me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, I want to find something that's a little different, a little edgy. It's kind of like when looking for artists, like when you hear certain artists, like, the Big L's, the J, the Bigs, whatever, like you hear something, it's something in their vocal.
Kendrick's,
That-
the J. Cole's, the
Bam.
Nipsey's.
Yeah, exactly. There's something
Gurus.
vocally that just takes you to a place. And although this track didn't take me there, you know what I'm saying? I just want to be taking it. It wasn't the worst beat I've ever heard, but if I'm gonna blap it, I gotta love it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
For this one, I'm gonna crap it. Doesn't mean they can't get a blap in the future, but right now I'm gonna crap that one.
All right. Perfection.
Perfection.
I kind of like it a little better than the last one.
Okay.
But I'm gonna crap it.
All right.
It wasn't a bad beat.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad beat at all. I think there's something about the melody that he can mix a little better. It was just simple in the sense of like it didn't really give me any feeling. You know what I mean? Like it was a cool beat, but it didn't make me feel too much. It just like I rode the wave, but it wasn't something that excited me. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Buck.
I liked the music first when it came on, but then when
Drums.
everything dropped with it, it just sounded like everything was all over the place.
True.
And it's like it just sounded kind of like it's like we're in a time you got to learn how to mix your beats. It sounded a bit muddy, and it's like
Yeah.
it didn't sound like it would take me anywhere to inspire me to write
Exactly.
something if I was an artist. So I'm gonna have to crap that a few times.
A few times.
Oh wait, hold up. I got you. Ready? Couple times. Yeah,
Exclamation
I'm
point.
gonna keep mine short. I'm gonna crap it too for the same reasons. Like it had potential. That sample had potential.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be
But-
super dope,
too.
and then
Yeah.
it's like it dropped, and I was like,
And it was really muddy, like you said.
It was
Even
muddy.
the sample was muddy.
Yeah, it was a little
real
muddy.
dirty south.
Exactly. Buck, thank you for joining us today, man.
Legendary.
Thank you so
That was
much,
so awesome.
man.
A lot of
Legendary.
jewels today, a lot of
Amazing
gems.
episode.
Make sure you guys follow Buckwild on all his socials. What are your socials? Is it just Buckwild or
Buckwild _ DITC.
Buckwild _ DITC? Digging in the crates. Man, looking forward to all the new shit you're doing, man. And like, man.
Oh, we'll link up. I'll play you some. Off
Please,
the record.
yes.
I'll come back another day and I'll play
Off
you.
the record, you guys don't get to see this.
Dope.
But let's give a warm round of applause for Buckwild for joining us today, man. Legendary episode. Make sure you guys catch us next time and subscribe to us. This is BLAPCHAT, and we're out of here, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. We're
Later.
out. All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.